Hello there and welcome. I will be starting live soon, so just give me 2 seconds so that I can share this link. And I'm just waiting for few of us to join right now and talk about my favorite topic, which is flaky test. So I guess you guys are already aware of what a flaky test is. A flaky test is a test that alternates between passing and failing. So again, I'm waiting for people to join, so I'll give it a few minutes. So I think we have got Mr. Muhammad Mudassir. So he has joined us in the call. Hello, Mr. Mudassir, how are you doing? So our topic today is, again, as I said, it's flaky test. So when you talk about flaky test, a flaky test can pass and fail without any changes to the code. So it alternates between the two states. The question is, how do you find flaky tests? So when you run the test in the pipeline, the challenge that you get is once in 10 runs, the pipeline fails. And when you try to investigate, you can't find a failure. And it's really hard to reproduce because those flaky tests fails 1 in 10 times. So how do you identify if your test is flaky? Well, there are two options. One is that you manually run that test 100 times. So you write npx playwright test, then enter, then npx playwright test, then enter, npx playwright test, and then enter. So doing it manually 100 times, it will take really long time. It doesn't make sense. In theory, if you are really good at bash, you might write a for loop in bash and then run that command multiple times, but how would you know that first test has finished? So you would have to manage the state and all that. So the solution, I'm gonna share my screen and show you the solution. So I'm gonna be brave in this live. So playwright.dev. Now let me see if I can share screen. And this is playwright. So if you go to the playwright documentation, it talks about two different options. One option that you get is, like, if you look at the parameterized test, you will see there's a for each loop. So this loop runs multiple times. You can put a for loop as well, and that for loop basically would run this particular test multiple times. But what if you want to just run it repeatedly? So there's an option called repeated repeat each. So repeat each is an option in the test project. So if you write a test, how many times do you want this test to repeat? Like, for example, if you want a test to repeat 100 times, if you configure this option in your playwright configuration, you can read over here the number of times repeat each test. Useful for debugging flaky test. That's exactly what I said over here. It is useful for debugging flaky test. But this is for playwright configuration. How do you use this option on your command line? So let me see if I can open my Visual Studio Code and share that with you over here in this live. And it is loading. So give me a few minutes. Home. So you can see that there is a test over there. So I'm going to just go to that folder where we have got this test. All we need is a project, any project. So we can imagine that this test is flaky. How would we debug this test? So because I'm doing live stream from this computer, there is a slight delay in how this computer is operating. So let's first try, can we run test? npx playwright test. Remember, whenever you are looking at looking at a new repository or opening a new project, before making any changes, run the test first, because this will give you an idea if the project tests are currently working fine. I think someone new has joined us, so welcome, whoever has joined. So we are talking about flaky test in this live, and I am showing you how you can debug a flaky test. So there's an option called repeat each. I'm going to show you in this live how to use that repeat each option. So the test ran, but both tests failed. And this is because it is saying that I need to do npx playwright install. So I'm going to stop this and install the missing dependencies. So let's wait for the dependencies to install while I rearrange the window on my side. So if you guys have any question, feel free to put it in the comments while this is getting installed. Because I use different machines every day, uh, sometimes my dependencies are not updated on my personal machine. So I've got a few over here, another Windows machine and Mac machine, and there's another one. So it seems it's sometimes it's challenging. But the option that I want to show you, let me just go back to the documentation while this is getting installed. I'm going to stop sharing screen and change the screen to the documentation screen. And there you can see. So to debug a flaky test, this option, repeat each, this is how you can run a test, for example, 100 times without adding a for loop on top of it. But this is showing you how to do it via the configuration. In this live, I'm going to show you how to do it via command line because that is more handy. So let's wait for the installation to finish on my machine. I'm going to go back to that uh, screen again. Sorry for switching between the two screens. So stop sharing, share screen, going back to my playwright test. It's still installing. By the way, I don't know if you guys have noticed that I recently got a message from Playwright in one of my projects. And it was like, I think you need to have Playwright version 1.46 plus to be able to use certain new features. So if you're using a really old version, I'm not sure which version is this project using. So you can see it in the dependencies. So this is an old version. So it's always good to use the latest version. So you can find this latest version from the, I'm actually going to share the whole screen over there because I keep on switching between those two. So share entire screen, screen two. Uh, can you see my screen? Yeah. Okay. So this is a browser. This is my screen. So here you can go to the Playwright docs, get started and release notes. Here you can find the latest version. This is one way to do it, or another way is to just delete this or and reinstall it basically. So npm update. Let's see if that works. It's still version 4.5. I'm just going to do 5.0 and do a npm I. Let's see. Do we install this? Or sorry, is it using package log JSON version? Let's see. So package log is where you can actually see what version is installed. And yeah, so now it is 1.50. So that's the latest version. I'm going to do npx playwright test and see if my project is working. Again, always make sure your project is running correctly. So as you can see, the tests are still failing and it's asking me to do npx playwright install again because it's missing the basic dependency. So We'll have to remove all the previous browsers that were installed for the older version of the Playwright. I know it takes time to do a setup. You need that environment setup. When you watch my videos, I go through all of these shenanigans behind the scene, and you see like a 1 minute short video. And this 1 minute short video is like special thanks to the person I work with, the video editor Zuko. He does a brilliant work on these videos, and he has to basically watch me struggle through the whole like video recording and just give you the value that you want to get. So anyways, let's just wait for this to download. There it is. So it's downloaded. I'm going to run the test again. Oh, sorry, not install. Npx playwright test. So hopefully this should work. Yeah. So it is now running the test, and the tests are passing, right? So how many times did it run the test? It used two workers to run two tests. So if we look at the playwright configuration, you can see it's only running on one project, and it is running two tests using two workers. Okay, so what if I want to run a specific test? So if I want to run this test, which is has title, I can type npx playwright test dash dash grep equal grep equal to, and then the test name. So now notice how many times a test was run and how many tests were run. So previously we were running two tests on two workers, right? And now we are running one test on one worker, right? I want to basically, so imagine this test is flaky and 1 out of 10 times this test fails. So I want to run this test 100 times. How do I do that? Well, like the repeat each option that I was talking about, if you go to the documentation and search for repeat each and running in multiple projects, is there like a CLI option that is clear? CLI, there you go. Repeat each. So all you need to do is pass in this parameter, repeat each, and I will do 10 space n. So I'm going to run one test 10 times. So can you see how many tests we are running now? We're running 10 tests using 4 workers. So it's the same test, it's distributed, it's parallelized, and each test has its own scope, and it's running 10 times. So it passed 10 times. So it is a stable test. You can check it with doing by doing it 100 times. It will take a little while, but if you want to find out if your test is really stable, this is how you do it. This is like a highlight for this live. Like you type npx playwright test grep and the test name, whatever test you want to run, and dash dash repeat each, and just type the number of times you want to repeat. So that's the beauty of using Playwright. You can easily debug flaky tests, and I'm going to be sharing this knowledge in my LinkedIn course, the upcoming LinkedIn course. So please stay tuned because that information would be vital. Another option, like I said, you put a for loop around it. That's like not best option because you're changing your code, your test code for temporary reasons, and you might, when you remove it, you can have like you can make a mistake, add some sort of human error or something. I wouldn't recommend it. And if you commit it accidentally, then that would be an issue too. So you can see I've already run 44 times out of 100, given we had 4 workers, and this test is still running. Now, that was one option. Second option and third option was playwright config. So if I go back to repeat each option, is called test config. So in the test config, repeat each, and look at over here. So it says define config. So within the define config, you can specify, so playwright config, so define config. So on the top level, you can specify repeat each like this. So that would be third way of doing it. So it has run 68 times. Let it run like the remaining 28 times, I guess. Um, but if you guys have any questions, please let me know on the chat. I would be very happy to help you regarding Microsoft Playwright framework or Microsoft Playwright testing service, and any questions, because I have used both of them, and I really love how it's designed, is how much developer friendly it is. And the people who work behind the scenes, I have talked to them, those people, they're really sweet, they're very humble, very empathetic, and they're very helpful. So make sure you show some love to those creators of Playwright as well. All right, so you can see it was running tests 100 times using 4 workers, and 100 times it passed. So that's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed this live. Hope you enjoyed how we can repeat a test 100 times. And stay tuned. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. The usual stuff. All right. Take care. Bye now.